Now let's focus on our chapter controllers. So first thing important to know, Laravel is a MVC platform framework. So here C stands for controller and it acts as a directing traffic between views and models. So in our command prompt, we'll start off with the basic thing like how to create a controller and how the controller is executed in Laravel. So first thing important to know that this controller is the only interface between the views and models. So whatever logic you define inside the controller, it will define your complete application structure. Let's focus on creating a new controller. So let's move on to a command prompt. I'll check it out for this. Just a second. So this is our command prompt. Here I will create controller. So creating a controller is done like we saw in the previous example. So to create a controller named demo controller. So yes, the controller has been created successfully. The syntax is PHP artisan make control and the name of the controller. Now you can see the created controller inside the app directory. So let's go on to a project, app, http, controllers. Here you can see the list of controllers which has been created. The demo controller is created here. So let's open with our demo controller. Let's check it out what is exactly there. A namespace has been included in it and it includes two classes, illuminate HTTP request and app HTTP request. So all these has been done, and the important thing, you can see the class demo controller extends controller. This thing helps to define that this particular script is related to controller. Now let's focus on controller middleware. Now we have seen middleware before and it can be used in controller also. Middleware can also be assigned to the controller's root or within the controller's constructor. You can use the middleware method to assign the middleware to the controller. The registered middleware can also be restricted to certain method of the controller. So how this can be done, let's check out for our routes.php. We saw the middleware, how it is done over here. So here we can assign a particular middleware to root it. Now here we saw in role we assign test controller. Here I will check out for demo controller. It means that this particular middleware will use this controller for getting any kind of the business logic and developing it. Now we saw assigning middleware to the route. So we have we have a root controller which has demo controller at index. It means it will use function index in it. Now assigning middleware within controller's constructor. So we have our controller over here. Here I will use the constructor. As in object oriented programming, you have seen every class has a constructor in it which is like same, which has the same name as that of the user class. So here I will define construct. It will include two underscores. You need to open that point, and you should keep that point in mind because one underscore will show a syntactical error. Public function construct $this middleware. My middleware was rule, so I will focus on rule. So, okay, so I am done with it. Here we are assigning it the middleware using middleware method in the user controller. So now we'll focus on one example. Here we'll create a user controller and then we will assign it to some particular middleware within routes.php. Then we will create another middleware called first middleware and make some of the changes in it, and let's have an interaction with both of them. Let's see how it is done. So step one is to create a user controller. So let's create a user controller. User controller has been successfully done. Let's move on to our routes.php. It's here. Okay, here I will create here I will use it to some particular middleware also. For example, my middleware is first middleware. So first of all, I will create a middleware associated with it. that is middleware first middleware. Okay, I've created. Now in my routes.php I will use the same thing over here, but the only difference will be that my user controller will be associated with first thing. So here this thing will be user, middleware will be first, uses user controller, at my function will be show path. Okay, so you have created a middleware also, you have made some changes over here. So now in first middleware.php, let's open our first middleware.php which we created right now. So it's in middleware folder, first middleware.php. Okay, here I will make a echo statement inside it. We are not making much changes over here, we're just focusing on some basic things. Echo br first middleware. Yep, done. Now other things I will not change. Now I'll create another middleware, second middleware. I'll create it in the command prompt, same way, second middleware. Okay, we are trying to use controllers and middlewares, so this example will focus on how different middlewares will interact with the same controller and how the output is being displayed. So now let's check out for our second middleware. This is my second middleware, open it up. Okay, here I will echo like it is in the same way like we did in first middleware. In the same way I will echo it in second middleware, mentioning this is the second middleware. Just focus on how it has been created, other things will be done automatically. Okay, now next step is to create a user controller. User controller is already been created. Now in the user controller we'll have a function also associated with it. Let's go to the user controllers. First thing, I'll include a constructor. So this is defining a constructor. Okay, so I've defined a constructor over here. So my constructor will be public underscore function, public function underscore construct. Always check for the indentations. Public function underscore construct dollar this middleware second. Okay, so now I will include a function show path, the one which we defined over here in our routes.php. Okay, I will check again routes.php. If you remember, we defined a function named show path instead of an index. So that is function show path. Here it will be request dollar request. Okay, now inside show path we will first of all take the URL or the URI dollar request equal to path. Don't take any spaces, you should obviously take the indentations perfectly. Path, then let's echo this URI. So that will be echo dollar URI The next thing is you will request URL also from the system. So dollar request URL. So first was path, second is URL. Now I will include a break tag first. Let's print it appropriately. So I'll include a break tag PR. Okay, accordingly save the files time to time, because any kind of issues will lead to your loss of code. URL, echo URL, so my URL will be $URL. Okay, done. Now in the similar way I will also have method equal to $request method echo, same way I'll include these things, break and method. Okay, so now it's done. So let's serve this particular project. So the application is already being served, we have seen over here. So it's running currently in localhost :8000. Let's see how it is working. First let's check out for our routes.php also, app http routes.php. Okay. So here I will also do a small change. Instead of I'll say get user, I will specify user controller path. Let's see how it works in the browser. So this is my browser. Here I will include a text user controller path in the same way. So if we check it out in the browser, it would be like this. So in this way we saw like localhost, we have served it in the artisan file, but when we check it for here, user controller path, it will show in this way: first middleware, second middleware, URI, URL and the method. So in this way the controller helps in functionality of the Laravel.